should have started with.
Hi everyone. I'm Tia, and first I'd like to thank the women coding community for giving me the chance to share about what I'm learning, and I'm really glad that more and more people are excited and interested in the topic of sustainability or green software. And first, let me start sharing my screen. Okay. Right. Um, uh, sorry, do you see my slides? Just
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you. Um, yeah. So let me introduce myself again. I'm a full stack developer with a focus on green software and particularly the sustainable web. And a little bit about myself. I moved to the UK 2 years ago with my partner and also changed my career from teaching into web development. Although teaching was really rewarding to me, um, because I love seeing people learn and grow. However, technology has the potential to solve problems at scale and to reach thousands or even millions of people. So that possibility kind of inspired me to take the leap and starting again in a new country and in a new field. I was deeply curious about how things work, especially how technology shapes the world around us. One thing I noticed quite quickly after moving here is how much the UK and the EU care about sustainability. There are eco labels on the products, renewable energy plans, recycling systems, you name it. But when it came to software or the web, barely anyone talked to me about the carbon footprint. I went to boot camps, I attended coding classes, and it wasn't mentioned even once. Yeah, so that time, um, I was curious why nobody talk about this. Hardware has improved a lot and it's more energy efficient. Some devices can even measure its carbon footprint. So does that mean that software has no impact, no environmental impact? And let's get back to the question. This question, how about the software's carbon footprint? It kind of the beginning of my green software journey. It all started with my curiosity. So I'm quite interested to see if people in the meeting think that software has a digital impact, environmental impact. You can drop your answer in the chat box. And have you ever heard about the software's impact? Yeah. Thank you, Casey. Yeah, I agree with you too. We're using electricity and people heard about AI and their water consumption. Yes, a lot of people are aware of the emissions, water usage. Thank you. Okay, so the short answer is yes. Every time we use an app, we visit a website or we stream a video, we are consuming electricity and, of course, other resources like water, data centers, networks, and end user devices. They all consume energy. The reason not many people talk about this, I guess, is because of the impact, environmental impact feels quite intangible. It's hard to see, right? We just plug in our laptops, surf the internet, watch the videos, and it feels so effortless. And behind that simplicity is a massive infrastructure that consumes energy 24/7. And here's the thing, hardware doesn't run itself. All the infrastructure is operated and driven by software. So the more work our software makes the hardware do, the more energy it consumes. Right. So even though we can't see it, every engineering design decisions will have a real environment, sorry, environmental costs. Yeah, a little bit nervous. Okay, so here are some numbers, and I think some people mentioned the water usage. So let's put these numbers here and see if you can guess what they mean. Okay, let's start with the 2%, 4% global carbon emission. And the second number, 1 to 5 million gallons water a day. But yeah, both of AI image and the electricity use. Yeah, yeah. I think era more and more people are using AI, and people care about their impact as well because the energy and the resources to generate that costs a lot of electricity. Uh, yes, thank you. So 2 to 4% of the global carbon emission uh, produced sector. And this number is quite on par with the
Um,
Hello, I think
oh,
Tia has
okay.
gone.
I thought it was just me, so I wanted to check if.
No, we're not even sure. Tia can hear us. Oh, she's left.
Oh, I think we lost her.
Yeah. Oh,
She's
well,
back.
let's accept her. Yeah, we need her. Let's
Ew.
accept her.
Hi, Tia. Can you hear
Hi,
us?
sorry, my I lost connection.
no
Yeah,
worries. You might want to share again.
yeah. Let me share the screen again. All right, share. Okay, we were talking about the second number, the 1 to 5 million gallons of water a day. And sorry, do you see my slides? Just
Yes, we
Yeah.
do.
yeah. Oh, cool. And yeah, depending on the size, that number is the water usage of one data center. And last time I checked, so that usage can match the usage of a town of 10,000 or 50,000 people. And that's just one data center. And I think that in the UK or the US, we have thousands of data center, and you can just multiply that number. Okay, we could see some tangible environmental impact of software. And I'm glad to say that it's not all bad news. The good news is more and more people are getting involved in the green software movement compared to when I started. And this year, I attended Green IO, is a sustainable IT conference in London. And to my surprise, the room was packed with people from all backgrounds, developers, researchers, designers. And at the end, somebody asked a question that stuck with me. Okay, so everyone in this room already bought in. We all believed in sustainable practice. How do we bring more people into the field? And that's why I'm here today, trying my best to do what I can, sharing what I learned and some tools, and hopefully can inspire you to take your first step to start your journey because we need more people into the field. All right, and today's talk, I will quickly mention the fundamentals. I know that many of you here have heard about green software and you may have your own resources. And to make sure everyone on the same page, I will show you the resources that I first used when I first started. And that's about the fundamentals. Next, it will be my top picks of tools that I actually tried myself. I know that out there are more corporate software, there are more paid software that you can try out. But for me, I will introduce you to some free software and tools. And lastly, I will be talking about my old tool. I also developed a VS Code extension called vscarbon, and I'll tell you about the challenges that I overcame while building the tool. Before we end the session, we will be discussing, talking about the next step because we want to just talk about theories today and we want to think about what action, what step we can take as a community. Right. And when it comes to the fundamental, if I could recommend just one resource to get started, it would be the Green Software for Practitioners course offered by the Green Software Foundation. So let me quickly take you to this page. Oh, sorry. Okay, here, the Green Software Practitioner course. And at the end of the course, they will give you a certificate. You can post that on your LinkedIn. And for this course, it's quite friendly to newcomers. Whether you are a developer, AI engineer, UX designer, you can find the resources that informs you of the best practice, sustainable practice. And here you can see that they introduce you to the core concepts, the terms, and practical steps, energy efficiency, yeah, practical steps to measure, estimate, and reduce the carbon footprint of the software. And they also host a lot of meetups. So you can check their meetup page and you can sign up for the next local meetup where you can meet the like-minded people and start learning together. For me, as a web developer, my next stop will be the Green Web Foundation. That's where I learn good practices for greener websites development, green hosting, optimizing access, improving performance. And here's one example of their green hosting list. So depending on where you are, the country, you can by a provider, a green hosting provider. Yeah. And here's something important apart from green hosting that I just mentioned here. I will show you all the areas to improve as well. But here's something important. Sustainability is not a separate goal. Before that, I used to think that, oh, sustainability is quite hard to do. I have too many things on my plate, accessibility, uh, performance. What else can I do? But recently, I realized that sustainability quite aligns with accessibility, performance, and user experience. And you don't have to sacrifice anything just to take on the sustainability. And let me show you what I mean. And the next step here is a carbon, a website carbon calculator. I prefer to say estimator because we don't accurately measure anything here. We estimate. And I don't know if anyone can drop the link here. Maybe let me do it. It's called ecograder.com. And
Yeah, it's already dropped. Don't worry.
oh, thank you, thank you. And yeah, I to save time, I already checked my personal website, hosted on Vastel, and you could see my impact report here. Okay, some scores, emission per page load, a lot of numbers I know, but let's say what do they mean? So for now, my personal website is ranked A plus, so the highest score I can guess. I can get, I think. And when I scroll further, I can see some areas I do to improve my site. Apart from the green hosting, you could see the rest look like performance. And I know if you are a developer, software developer, performance is something you do almost every day. Okay, and here let me go further. The page weight and optimizing media. Okay, so here you can optimize your media, images, video, animation. So by optimizing these files, you can decrease the load time and reduce emission. So now it looks good to me. And you can try now using the eco grader and just drop in any URL that you like and see what it says about that website. So here everything looks optimized to me except one. Okay, I forgot about this. I just uploaded this image to my website without reducing the size. So it's quite huge, and it's yeah, PNG, yeah, PNG. So not very efficient here. This is something I should work on to improve the score. And remember to check your files often, remove unnecessary content, and the unused JavaScript bundles, dependency that, yeah, library dependency, third-party code. Okay, so there are a lot of things I can do to improve this. So in your free time, you can try out the tool and see what else you can do. But just a warning that this tool is just for estimation. It's more like a learning tool to see what we do better and what can be improved. You should not make any strong statements or claims about something you don't fully understand because there's a risk of greenwashing For example, if I upload this score into a social media claiming that my website is the best, it is better than anyone else, and everyone should try this tool to improve their website. It's the best tool, and 100% you should try this, then it sounds quite biased. And make sure you, whenever you use any tool, please go to a section called methodology or how it works. So click on here how it works to see how they came up with the numbers, to see if you resonate with their approach or not. Okay, so that's the eco grader tool to estimate your website emission. And at the end of the session, I will share this file where I listed all the resources mentioned in the section. So apart from the EcoGrader, there's another tool called Website Cabin, and you can check your URL as well. And they even have a cabin badge that you can embed into your personal website. I'll see if I can quickly show you what I mean. Uh, Here, yeah, you can try website cabin, and when you get the score, you could use your badge here and copy the code and put into your personal website. So your website now is cleaner than 87% of pages tested. Yeah, there's something fun I like to do. Okay, cool. Right, so we just finished with the website audit section. And the takeaway is sustainability can be achieved without sacrificing others. So if you do performance, yeah, just continue to do what you do. Yeah. And next, if you are wondering what else we can do apart from reducing carbon emission, apart from auditing the website, and here comes the grid awareness. And this is something exciting that I'm really interested right now. What is grid aware? And in some places, they even mention carbon aware. I think they are quite similar. So grid aware is when your software does more, when energy grid, electricity grid is cleaner, and the software do less when the energy grid is powered by fossil fuels. You know that electricity you are using comes from different sources, renewable energy or fossil fuels. So depending on what sort of energy, because that level will fluctuate during the day, and depending on the period of the day, there will be more renewable energy or there will be more fossil fuels. So if you can schedule your daily activities based on the weather, based on the season, why not scheduling your computing tasks, your CI/CD tasks, or even your design based on how low or how high the carbon intensity of your energy grid? Okay, sorry, this is my tool. But before I show you my tool, let me quickly show you one example. So this is the first example that inspired me so much about grid aware, and it's called Branch Magazine. I don't know if you ever heard about this magazine. So it's a place for a just and sustainable internet. And you can see that I chose the grid aware mode here. So the design will react accordingly to how dirty or how clean my local grid is. And here I'm from the UK, and my current carbon intensity is quite high, and my local grid is dirtier than the average. And you can see they just stop loading the media. So no more images. And if you still want to see the images, you can click on show image here. It will load. But by default, if your local energy grid is dirty, the website will load fewer elements. So it's similar to the eco mode of your air conditioner. Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to mention the Green Software Foundation also developed a tool that you can try to create a similar experience like this to your website. I think we'll drop a link later. I forgot to include that in the file. But yeah, so with the idea of grid aware, you can come up with many good ideas about how you can schedule your task. Okay, and let's go back to my tool, vscarbon. Inspired by the Branch magazine project, I tried to find a way to utilize the National Grid API to see when the carbon level is low and high, and try to schedule my tasks accordingly. Here are some criteria that when designing my extension, my VS Code extension. It should make carbon data visible, because if you can't see the data daily, life happens and people will forget. I don't know, I feel like I will take less action if the information about climate, about global warming does not come across my site every day. So I need something visible, and I need something that I can integrate into my everyday tool as well, something I can put into my daily workflow and easy to use. That's why I came up with the idea of building a VS Code extension for developers like me. I don't know if you use VS Code. I think the extension will work on any VS Code based editor, whether that's Cursor or I haven't tried Vim, but it should work in a similar way. And the VS Cabin will enable developers and newcomers like me to take climate action more easily, because climate action only becomes possible when we make it accessible. I went to green software meetups. I went to local tech events. I mentioned the green software and how to do more sustainably, how to integrate grid aware into everyday tasks. And the common questions that I got was that, oh, what is the first step we can take? What is the simple tool that we can try? And I think it would be great if we could have a tool that we easily use and try out the idea of grid awareness. Right, this is the screenshot of my VS Code extension. So I will show you the screenshot first, and then I'll let you see the extension working in my VS Code as well, because I'm not sure if the connection will be stable. But here you can see there are two main sections here. One section is the breakdown of the energy grid sources, solar power, wind, hydro, nuclear. You can see the breakdown of the percentage of energy sources. And on the right-hand side will be the commit. There is your GitHub commit. That's why my talk title is making a thoughtful commit, one commit at a time, something like that. So it's talking about GitHub commit here. The tool will track your sustainable commits. And what do I mean by sustainable commits? It depends on when you commit your code. If you commit your code during the low carbon and moderate carbon periods, it will be counted as sustainable commits. And why I choose GitHub commits? It's quite hard to choose something to measure your impact. For me, I think that GitHub commit can trigger many workflow. Whenever you commit something, you trigger the CI/CD highlight, maybe the database, and a lot of tasks further. So I want to choose this as something you can use to track your sustainability, because every time you make a decision to commit your code, you think about your environmental impact. So you make your engineering decision with the climate in mind. So that's why I chose the GitHub commits. But of course, you can have your own way to utilize the National Grid API. So maybe let me show you the my GitHub is open source. I guess you can just clone the repo, have a look at the code, and see if you can modify the code and turn this into your own tool. Yeah. So here, vscarbon, all the features listed here. If you have any feedback or question, please feel free to drop in the chat box, or you can just open an issue, create an issue here. Yeah, and I will read them all. Yeah, so before that, there were some developers leaving comments for me to improve the features, and it would be great if I can receive more feedback to make the tools more accessible for everyone. Okay, now let me try to share the whole screen so I can show you the VS Code extension. Sharing the whole screen. Right, so here, I don't know if you could see tiny corner here where the carbon data is displayed. Yeah, so if I click on this, I will see a breakdown of the energy grid I mentioned before, and of course the commits. I demoed this a while ago during the high carbon period, so of course I don't have any sustainability rate here. All the two commits were made during the high carbon periods. So there's some trade-offs you have to make. After using the tool for a while, I feel like I just have a new habit. Of course, when the work is urgent, I have to push the code anyway. But if I could, I would try to delay that a little bit further when the level of carbon drops further, so that I can have my sustainable commits recorded here. Yeah, so gradually over time, I kind of developed a habit towards sustainability. And of course, depending on where you are, you can set the postcode here. I'm based in Hertfordshire, so my postcode is AL10. But if you are in London, feel free to drop it in the input here. Maybe I can't remember, but I think this is the postcode of Yorkshire, Sheffield or Yorkshire. Yeah, so in Sheffield, the carbon intensity is even higher, very high. Yeah, right. And that's about my tool. Okay, let me go back to the slide. Okay, let me stop. Hmm. Okay, and here I will mention some challenges I encountered when developing the tool. First, let's talk about the data here. So out there, not many API that I can use to fetch the carbon data, and some carbon data is not real time. And I feel like in order to make meaningful action, I should utilize the real time data. However, when it comes to efficiency, is it worth it to fetch the data whenever there's new data come in? Because the more you fetch data, the more energy you will use, right? And I want to be efficient here, so I think maybe I only need to fetch data every 30 minutes. That's why I configured in the tool that only fetching the data every 30 minutes. And another thing to consider is that the extension should be lightweight. And next is the security. You could see that you need to enter the postcode, and I don't want to use geolocation for that because I feel like people are ready to try out the tool if they feel uh, a sense of insecurity here. That's why I just allow people to put in their postcode and just a regional postcode, not your flat postcode. So it's more secure that way, more private that way. And about adoption, this tool is open source and I built it so that more newbies can try it out and explore the ways to make their own tools. So it would be great if you can tell me if you're interested in the tool or anything I can do to make the adoption rate higher. But yeah, it's quite hard to promote the tool because I'm not really used to talking about my work or even public speaking is something that I'm not doing often. But because we need to promote the sustainability and create software, this is something that I should get better. And lastly, I hope that after the session, you will explore and experiment a lot. Maybe the experiment won't be successful, but I believe that experiment is a critical part of innovation and creating business values. So that's it about my tools and my talk. And now I will hand it to you. The last session, I hope that we can think about the first step we can take, whether reading a book about sustainability or thinking of a way that we can make our website better, improving the performance, for example. So can you please drop in the chat box the first step you will take maybe tomorrow toward the sustainability and green software? And I will end my session here. Thank you everyone for listening. Mhm.
Thanks. Thank you so much. This was really good. I hope people drop in what are their first steps. We're looking forward to reading them. And as people, everyone is typing in the first step, Tia, I have one question for you actually. There are a couple of questions in the chat as well, but I want to ask you, when you're committing the code, how do you calculate that carbon footprint? Is it per I think that is a similar question Ira has asked. Is
Ah,
it to the number of lines committed, or how is it being calculated?
okay. Sorry, maybe I did not explain clearly about the number of the tool. So that number was not calculating your carbon emission, that the emission of your local area. So I did not calculate your carbon emission. It's just a tool to push you to behavior change. When you see the number, when it's too high, then you consider delaying your task later because now the carbon intensity of your area is too high. Maybe we should postpone the task.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
maybe let me show you the API, the national grid API carbon here, and you could see where the number came from. So I drop it in the
I
chat,
see.
and you can
Okay,
yeah, I drop in the chat. You can read your documents.
I see.
So
Okay,
that
so
that's that
two
is
commits
in
were
yeah
during.
yeah. So that is the number of grams of carbon emission per kilowatt. Yeah, kilowatt. I mean, uh, so kilowatt per hour. Sorry, Miss messed up the unit here. But yeah,
Okay, okay.
per
So it the two commits that you had were
yeah.
during the peak hour when the carbon,
Mm.
sorry, footprint was bad, the energy was not clean, and that's what your plugin is indicating.
Yeah, so my blogging more about behavior change because if you want to measure your carbon emission, I can introduce you to other tools out there because most of them are targeting corporate clients when they have to do the carbon accounting ESG reports, and they care a lot about measuring their carbon emission. So there are a lot of tools out there I can share. I can drop in the file. You can have a look later. Of course, they're not free. They are paid.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, for me, it's there's a way I think I can do it in the future. I can consider how much battery usage um because
It's
when you use your laptop, you can check the battery usage and see how much energy consumed
yeah,
by
absolutely.
coding. Yeah, by coding. Yeah.
There
But if
are a few
yeah,
other questions as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
So one is from Michael. How does it work? So this is regarding the when you were talking about the branch magazine,
yeah.
and the image was not loading. I think the question is for that. How does it work? The resource, are they still loaded? In the branch magazine, when you turn on the
Mm,
eco mode,
yeah.
the image was not being shown. And I think the question is for how do you manage that?
How does it work? Okay, so for their purpose of demonstration, they still load the resources if you don't choose the eco mode. Um, but in practice, when you use their tool, they develop a tool you can embed into your website. If the visitor comes from area with high carbon intensity, and it will direct you to a different version of the website where there is
Okay.
less resources loaded. Yeah, so you can think of having an equal version of the website where there's no photos loaded or anything. But yeah,
Mm,
so there are many ways we can do to
yeah.
utilize the photos and the images loaded on the websites. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'll just move on to the next question. I'm sure I saw some. Okay, there's another question. Is there any green checker for mobile apps?
Sorry for the mobile
Mobile apps, but I guess it would. Is there any green checker for mobile apps?
green check phone. Oh, that's a good one. I haven't actually tried, but I think there's software. Okay, I have a look because I heard about the software SDK toolkit that you can apply to any software. Maybe I'll look into that. There's a good question because for the mobile apps, you rely a lot on battery. So we can start from that. Yeah, and different devices will emit different level of emission. The laptop, the TV, of course, will produce more carbon emission compared to the mobile apps. But if you want to optimize the mobile apps further, I think that people start optimizing for battery use, or yeah, maybe I'll look into this and see if how can I get back to you. I don't know if we can just copy all the questions here and then I'll answer it later when I
Yeah,
have a
there is a
chance. Or
recording, so
or
you'll be able
yeah,
to.
or you can connect with me on LinkedIn and then we can chat about this. Okay, I'll drop my LinkedIn here. Sorry. Yeah. So please connect with me on LinkedIn. If I don't know the answer, I will find out the resource and point you to it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There is one more question that I'm actually
Yep.
also interested in. The answer is a bit far up. So someone asked something related to AI. So there was like a stat that you shared at the beginning of the presentation, and then Lily asked how much of this statistics is related to the AI systems which run on massive amount of servers that generate a lot of it. Do you have any like any insights on that that you could share?
Mm, okay. Talking about AI. Yeah. Um, First, I'm not an AI expert and I'm not running many cloud servers, but I'm aware that out there is a tool called carbon runners. So whenever you train your AI models, you run the intensive task and you want to reduce your carbon emission, you can shift the workload into other regions because different regions will have different level of carbon intensity. So if the UK today has high carbon intensity, you shift the workload, the training to the server in US, for example, you can shift the workload across the regions like that for your cloud work. Yeah, I'm talking about cloud work. You can shift the regions, and there's a tool called Carbon Runner. Yeah, they were developed by one of my friends, but I'm not sponsored. But yeah, it's a good tool, Carbon Runner. Yes, and they generate a lot of heat. I agree. And in the last session, I went to the Green IO, and somebody actually utilized the heat from the servers. I think the company called Heater. So with the heat from your server, instead of the heat going to waste, right? You can utilize the heat to heat up your household. So imagine having a server into the household to heat up your water tank or something like that. And actually, they are applying this in many households in the UK. So yeah, to utilizing the heat from the servers. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, and about the WordPress, I see somebody mentioned WordPress. I know an extension that can help you improve your WordPress as well. but I don't know how I can reach out to you and introduce the tool because I need time to get the link. So hold that to see, I think. Yeah, they asked about the WordPress tool, and I know some extension that you can use, but yeah, maybe you can try reaching out on me on LinkedIn, and I promise I will give you the link to the extension. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the hopefully answer all the questions.
I think
Anyway,
that
maybe that's it. If you have more questions, please feel free to message me on LinkedIn, and I think the rest we can do the giveaway because I have a book here that I will.
absolutely. And how do you
Yeah.
manage? How what do you think, Tia, is the right approach to go ahead with that raffle? Lucky winner based on we need to think of something. Um, Hello, can you hear me?
Sorry.
Yes.
Can you
Oh,
hear me? Yeah, we need to do a lucky draw. And what do we go with? Any ideas quickly? Anybody?